Welcome to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today, we'll be talking about how to balance life in alignment with the current cosmic energy. And without further ado, I would like to pass la taza to T for the transits of this week. Welcome, T.
Thank you, Shayla. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. It's so good to see you again today. And we're glad that you join us. I mean, it's just that simple. Today, we're going to talk about ingresses, which are planets, asteroids entering different signs, different houses. And we're going to start off talking about Ceres, who enters Libra on Wednesday, the 21st at 7:22 a.m. Good to know that asteroids are named after goddesses. They're named after aspects of the divine feminine, and Ceres is known as very powerful goddess of the earth. In fact, two of her attributes, her tools, are the scythe, and she also carries the cornstalk, and which is important, right? Because that's how we're fed. Demeter is the one who makes sure that we are fed. And she's entering Libra. And there are other names that we know her as, and Shayla will go into that a little bit more later. But it's important to know that her dance is what keeps the seasons going. Her dance with her daughter, Persephone, and also with Master Transformer Pluto. I mean, they are what it's all about, and how we get our food and how we nurture ourselves. So when Ceres enters into Libra, she's all about equal relationships. She's all about egalitarian relationships. And she's entering Libra when it's in the 11th house. And 11th house is about the bigger relationships that we're in. Not to say that they're more important than our other relationships, but they are the ones that have to do with our career, with our social standing. It's the neighborhood where our clubs are, where our associations are, where our organizations are. Not so much as our relationships as, my best friend who I speak to, twice a week. It's a little bit different than that. It's at a, I'm going to say, higher level, although I believe that all relationships, as Ceres would, are equal. So this is where we receive benefits, fortunes in our career. And the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius, so it may be a little different. It may be a little odder. It may be a little something that you didn't quite expect, because that's just how, Aquarius is. What came to me when I was looking at these transits this week was, in terms of thinking about nurturing, I had some questions that came up. And those questions were, what is right in your world? What gives you pleasure? Are you treating yourself as well as you treat others? And so those are some questions to ask yourself. The other thing is that I was told to remind you to get your mammograms, because Ceres is about nurturing. Ceres is, we always think about the breast when it comes to nurturing, right? Because that's our our primal nurture when we're first born. So we give, right? So it's like, get your mammograms. And if you're not getting mammograms, do a monthly breast check. Men, women, trans, whoever you are, whatever you ID as, your gender identity, that's important for all of us, because it's about us humans here and how we treat our bodies. But those were the thoughts that I came to with Ceres entering Libra on Wednesday, the 21st. Shayla.
Oh, what a beautiful suggestion. The taking care of the breast, the chest is the first thing we have, right? That covers us. It's almost like it hugs our body, it protects our body as well. So if we're taking care of the breast, of the chest, right, we're taking care of part of ourselves. And in that segue, Ceres is all about also the home, the family. It's about dynamics and mother and child, mother-daughter, mother-son dynamics as well. It's like with Ceres, she brings in a sense of loss, because with the story of Demeter, which is Ceres, is she lost her daughter, Persephone, who then became the queen of the underworld due to Pluto abducting her. So 6 months out of the year, she's in the underworld, and then another 6 months of the year, she's out in the world with us, you know, in planet Earth here. So in that rage and in that anger, Ceres, Demeter, developed a sense of loss and disconnection and anger, which makes her a dark feminine as well. And thinking about our own dark feminine or dark or shadow side, which is not always a negative or bad thing, is we are humans, and how to best work with it, how to best work with our shadows, how to best work with dynamics of mother and us, mother and child. Even if you're not a mother, what relationships do you have with your own mother or mother figure in your life? Or do you see yourself as a mother figure here in this world? Like, I totally do. Like, I don't have children yet, but I mother people. That is part of who I am. And in all of this series also wants us to reconnect us to, you know, being in the 11th house, to our coworkers, to our friends, being able to compromise with them, compromise with loved ones, family, and bring in a sense of harmony and peace into those areas of our life, especially if we're working in big systems. So if we're working in, say, big projects, humanitarian organizations, we're working out there in the community, it's important to think about Ceres, Demeter, which is the queen, the goddess of agriculture, as a way and a means to reconnect in that dynamic of togetherness, which I think it's a beautiful way to nurture. And remembering that nurturance and being nurtured is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street where you are willing to give nurturance and receive it just as well into the body. This is a good time again to call in harmony, to maybe do prayers around harmony and peace in your home. Good for cleansing your home and connecting down to earth, taking off your shoes when you get home, to ground yourself and connect more to your roots, to your land, taking time to appreciate nature, because Ceres, again, Demeter is earth goddess. So connecting down to earth, but also connecting to our emotions, because a lot of the asteroids in the pantheon are connected to the moon. So connecting to the depthness of our emotions and to earth. So it's like water and earth coming together and uniting to help us and to move us forth. And which is a great segue to the next thing that T wants to talk about. I'm passing down the thoughts again.
It's interesting because I got more thoughts as you were talking, and I just want to reiterate the fact that when we talk about the divine feminine and we talk about the feminine, that feminine aspects and masculine aspects belong to all genders. That it's, you know, we're talking about the feminine, we're talking about the shadow side. We all have shadow sides. We all have the sides that we show to the light, you know, not the hidden places. So I just wanted to keep that in mind. The other thing too is that you know, as we've been, you know, the world is at war, you know, what's going on in Russia, Ukraine, the crops are there, the wheat is there, so that we are going to have to be aware. We should be aware of our food and where that is coming from. And, you know, many people are starting to use their lawns as a place to grow crops, right? People are looking for different ways to make sure that we can continue to nurture ourselves. You know, it's just like when we had that big smoky thing that happened up in the Northeast. It wasn't just New York City or the Bronx or Brooklyn or Staten Island. It was, you know, Canada. It went throughout the world, you know, throughout many, I would say the world, because the air particles float, so that none of us are divided. We are all together. We are all, you know, we're all merged together in energy field. So I just wanted to say that, to add that on, just to be aware of the bigness of who we are in our littleness. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is that same Wednesday, the 21st, the sun enters Cancer. So happy birthday to all the Cancerians who are listening to, and the Cancers rising and the moon Cancers. So yeah, happy birthday. And Cancer is a sensitive soul. She's of the moon, she's of the water, she's of the emotions. She lives in the fourth house, as Shayla had said earlier, about the home, about your lineage, about your heritage, about your bloodline, and which parent is the caregiver, right? Who did we look up to? You know, many times we think it's the mother, but it may not necessarily. It could be the father. I mean, my father definitely nurtured me a lot. Although my mother nurtured me, my father was also a great nurturer. So it's something to be aware of. Who is that primary figure? It could be your grandpa. It could be, you know, only we can answer that for ourselves. And as I said earlier, Cancer rules the breast and the digestive system. So take this time out to be aware of yourself, how much proportion is involved, how much you're giving out, and how much are you taking in. It's really important that you know, not become over emotional in terms of, I mean, emotions are allowed, yes, but you know, don't get yourself in a spot where you're feeling angry, you're feeling bitter, because that doesn't feel good, right? If I take care of myself in equal proportions to my family, you know, everything just is in balance and it flows a lot better. So some of the ideas that I had gotten were a luxurious bath with candlelight, you know, drinking like papaya juice or mango juice. That could be very nurturing for ourselves. Maybe we can bathe under the night sky, right? Maybe we can just lay outside if we have that particular environment, that we can do that on your terrace, on your balcony, on your fire escape, you know, and just drink in the star, just drink in the stars energies, and let that replenish you for balance. So tending toward moodiness isn't so great for ourselves, because we just like don't feel good about it. I mean, we're all entitled to have a mood. Yes, I have a mood. I'm sure Shayla has a mood every now and again, you know, but you know, what are we doing so that we don't get into that place of our claws coming out, right? A little Cancer, you know, the crab, you know, just being crabby, just going, you know, into wanting to go into the sand and burrow into the sand because the sun is too hot out there, right? So so it's something to think about. Shayla.
And happy summer solstice. I mean, we're coming into this new bright and open space for us to get out of the crab's shell, getting out of it as best as we can, whether it's going out. I'm getting, for a lot of us, if we live around bodies of water, to spend time there. Also for children, I'm getting children to eat watermelon this time around. So try to get watermelons that are accessible to you, that are affordable for you, and feed them to your children. Feed yourself with watermelon, because the consistency of it has a lot of water and it's just so tasty. And I'm getting also, there's a big need to reduce sugars, like in Starbucks drinks. Nothing against Starbucks, but try to reduce that this time around for the summer solstice, for the summer, and just focus more on water-based fruits or drinks, and really bring in purification into the body with this sun in Cancer and this summer solstice. And put in your intentions for what you want to show to the world in this time. What is it that you're willing to start to express emotionally? Maybe there's something you want to express and talk about. Bring that in. Maybe you want to share the bigger picture, or maybe you want to start to heal something. Bring that out. Even with it being in Cancer, you could do, again, scrying, any type of water-based divination if you choose to, or even I'm getting reading books, spending time reading new books and making like a nice checklist, so then you have a focus for the summer and the summer solstice. And putting in your intention is the most important thing, because it's going to keep you on target. And even if we fall off the wagon, it's okay. We can get back on it. Absolutely.
That sounds great. I love that watermelon. I think I'm
Yeah,
gonna go shopping
I love
today.
the watermelon.
So on Monday, the 26th of June, Mercury enters Cancer. So, Mercury we've said many, many times, is a planet of swift communication. And it's important to be clear. Clarity is key here. So Monday is the day that many of us go back to work, and the emails are sitting there, the communications are there, and reminders that the pen and the tongue are the mightiest tools, the mightiest weapons. So, think a moment before you send out that communication. Is like I've said before, does this need to be said, and does this need to be said by me? And am I feeling, am I answering this email, or am I writing this memo because I'm on a weekend emotional hangover, right? It's like, what, Cancer, my emotions have been prominent, I would say. And there might be energies that, even if it's been a wonderful weekend, that I just haven't shed them yet. Have I smudged with sage? Have I gotten rid of those little energetic critters that are hanging on to me? And also, if you have and you're still feeling it, burn an incense stick. Cedar will bring in that wonderful energy. If you don't have the cedar in bulk form that you can burn. So this is a time to think about and to act on, what are the energies that I want around me? What are the energies that I want to put forth? And by doing so, in a way that is methodical, in a way that I'm sitting down with myself and I'm saying, okay, this is meant for my boss. This isn't me because I'm still on Sunday afternoon and I was sitting in traffic and I wanted the weekend to move so I could get into, the week. So that's what I am receiving for Mercury entering Cancer. Okay,
Beautiful.
Shayla.
Beautiful. With that Mercury entering Cancer, it's like almost like an explosion of emotions, right? Because we have Mercury, which is a very fast moving planet. It's the fastest because it's the closest to the sun, in a sign that is super chill, super passive, like Cancer. And it's a water sign. So there is an aspect of us like being able to easily express our emotions in different ways, vocalize them, use the voice. If you're a singer, you enjoy to sing, this is a perfect time to fine-tune your singing voice. If you like to do, even I'm getting stand-up comedy. Yeah, like this is a perfect time to kind of like practice with a fake mic, get into your inner child, right? Because the Cancer energy is about the inner baby, and is also the mother, but it's also our inner baby. How can we play around with it? Maybe we'll have like a mic we'll play with, or maybe something like this, and a tool that you have, and pretend or imagine that it is you're at this center stage, with your voice, expressing yourself, expressing your inner world. Get creative. Painting classes, perfect. Go out and paint. I believe in the Brooklyn Botanical, they have classes where you can sit and watch the scenery and then paint the scenery. So if anyone is interested in something like that, that's perfect for like Mercury going into Cancer as well. You're learning, right, the mercurial aspect of it, and then you're doing art, which is the Cancerian part of it, and expressing that burst of emotions out into the world, and into the sun, into the moon, into the earth and the universe. I think it's gonna be super beautiful to have Mercury in such a beautiful sign like Cancer.
That sounds great. It sounds great. Yeah, I'm sure there's so many opportunities out there to get involved in artistic endeavors, even if we haven't done them before, right? It's something new, which is coming up the aspect of Leo squaring Uranus and Friday the 23rd, and it leaves Monday the 26th. And Mercury squares Neptune on the 25th. And this is a really big aspect. I mean, it's square. We've talked about how squares can bring challenges, although if we meet our squares squarely head on, it can be just a wonderful thing that happens. So what I'm thinking of is that thinking about Mars, thinking about the warrior, it's like, you may be ready to charge to the weekend. You know what your plans are already for that weekend, and you're ready. The thing is that Uranus is going to maybe bring a disruption. It's going to bring a flash of insight. It's going to bring something to you that says maybe you cannot go forward with this weekend the way you want to. So although Uranus is a planet that's further out, further way out in our galaxy, and we don't usually think of it as individual. These are the thoughts that I've been coming up with for this particular reading. So for many of us at this time, we're going through changes. And we may know that a change needs to occur, but we may want to hang on to the old, especially with Uranus being in Taurus. It's not very comfortable, but we've been doing it for a few years, and we're going to do it for a couple of more years now, right? So like it's just like, okay, so how can I go with it? How can I be flexible? How can I allow this change that is going to be for my higher good to happen? A warrior always remembers that they can take off their helmet, they can take off their shield, they can put their sword down. They can, because they're a warrior, right? They are the warrior. The tools aren't the warrior, the dress isn't the warrior, they are. So they can do this, and they can like really look and say, okay, is this going to be for my good, or is this, something that is a little disruptive, but I can deal with it. So Mars wants to go, go, go. Mars is spontaneous. Mars is Aries can be impulsive. They already know their head is there already, so they're already there. But Uranus and Taurus say, well, wait a second, let's just have a seat here. So allow yourself to do that, and see what kind of changes come in. You may be more than glad that you did take your helmet off, that you did put your your shield and your sword down, and you allowed this change to occur. Something other may happen, and that other may be wonderful for you. That's it.
Beautiful. Yeah, with this Mars, with Mars and Uranus square off, they're fighting, they're in constant fighting. And what I got for this placement here, for this aspect, is what are we breaking away free from? What chains are we breaking, right? Because we have here Mars and Leo, which is all about wanting to be forcefully seen, wanting to put action, wanting to be out there. And then we have Uranus, which is about freedom and innovation. So what have you personally wanting to free yourself from that has been holding you back? Also reconsidering some of the systems that we've built individually for ourselves. Like, what does it even work anymore? Or is it that we're keeping them around because they feel safe? Uranus is not about safety. She will assist in breaking those chains and breaking apart what we thought was the right thing, or the ideas that we thought that were the right things. Even in our career and our work, there might be a little bit of like, wait, hold on, like there's something I need to work on here. Maybe I need to improve on something. Maybe I want to do something a little bit more higher, or a higher level than what I'm doing now. There's going to be the spark, and Uranus is going to help us to break free, to break free and just be more, have an ability to become more flexible. Maybe we want to have a flexible schedule, or maybe we want to change something to make it more easy for us to work with. Also, I'm getting here that you have, if you're a caretaker, if you're taking care of your family, you know, there's going to be this, and your PTO is running out. How can you reestablish that connection with your home, with your routine? What routines are you building that you are now seeing are more important for you at this moment because they apply to your life versus the old routines? So there's going to be a lot about you and your home, and also your career changes, and that having a different outlook, looking at it from a different perspective. And Uranus is going to help us break apart from something that we thought was there because it was safe. Uranus is connected to Aquarius, and Aquarius is the liberator. That is the archetype of Aquarius, liberating. And then we have here Mars, which is the warrior. And it's these two kind of red zone planets. Like, it's almost like a starburst in a way of like chains flying everywhere, things breaking apart, but it's for the betterment of who we are. And once we go through that, I believe this transit is going to be for the next 3 days, from the 23rd to the 26th. Those 3 days, just working through that energy to help us grow and evolve, rather than seeing it as like too disruptive that we can't work with it. We could work with it in balance, evolve from it, and then put all that we learned, all those pieces together. And that's using Mars and Leo at the end and putting everything back like a jigsaw puzzle, putting it up in a frame, and then looking back like, okay, that works for me. Oh no, I have to change this because it doesn't work anymore. So look at yourself in this, but also look at your public life and your caretaking life, or where you are nurturing as well at this moment for these next 3 days.
That's lovely. You reminded me of when I was so much younger, and I was working full time, and my kids would be in summer camp all day, and then I'd come home, and it's time to make dinner. So what would I do? I'd put some food together. We'd take it to the park, and they'd play like crazy, for an hour or so, a little bit more. We'd have dinner on a blanket, and we had dinner and we did family thing, but it was outside in Prospect Park, because we were always, Brooklyn people. So yeah, so thank you for bringing back that memory, Shayla. It was embedded somewhere inside of me. So that's so nice. It's really, that's just me doing things differently. Yeah, I mean, yeah. We still have to eat, right? We still have to do things, but it's, how do we do them?
Yeah.
So the last transit that we're going to talk about today is Mercury in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces on Sunday, the 25th. So, it's a big weekend. So this weekend can be one of restlessness, can be one of disruption, and we've been cautioned already to be diplomatic in our words and how we are going to communicate what we believe to be. Sometimes, Neptune is dark. Neptune is way down there, and Neptune has a swimming in the dark waters of the sea. So we may not know the facts, but our beliefs are so profound. Our thoughts, we believe them so deeply, but, are they on target? I'm not telling you to doubt yourself, but there's also like, just take a moment to say, wait a second, maybe now isn't the time for me to, as I was saying earlier, to write that email or to do a particular thing. So sometimes what I'm being shown to do is, write some letters. If we feel like we need to get something off our chest, just don't mail them, keep them, throw them in the circular file. You can write in your journal whatever it is that you need to say. So a lot of writing is here for me. Get those deep feelings, get those deep thoughts out. But also they may not have to go to who your intended person is. If you do need to, sometimes we do need to confront something. We can confront it with gentleness. We can confront it with diplomacy. and in a forthright manner, without fighting, without making it uncomfortable. Because if we don't face whatever the thing is, sometimes the situation can be even more toxic, and that's not going to be really healthy, right? Holding on to toxic feelings is not healthy for us. Or for the people that we were around, because they tend to spill out in other ways, even if we think we're holding them in, really tightly. So, again, remember that this is Cancer season. This is a sensitive time. Honor that. Love that about yourself, that you have feelings that could come up and that you're not, no one's suggesting that you squash your emotions. Don't squash them, but it's how you channel them is the thing to do. So that's what I have to say on Mercury and Gemini squaring Neptune and Pisces, Shayla.
See, your words are like the cherry on the top of everything. Mine says the base, yours is like the cherry on the top, sweetness. I love it. With this Mercury and Gemini squaring this Neptune Pisces, we're going to be learning a ton. We're going to get the ball rolling and the things that we want to learn. I'm getting right now, like the casino, when you go to the casino, the energy there, that's what I'm getting with this aspect here. I'm also getting the word illusory again, which appeared last episode number 5. And again, with that Neptune being elusive, Neptune is about when we're in the mother's womb. That is Neptune. And when we're coming out into the world, that is, again, those first months, that first year, until we're like maybe 2, 3, that is so connected to Neptune. So here with this Mercury-Neptune square, what is it that we are still connected to this illusory? That brings part of our imagination into play. I'm also getting, if you're thinking about going viral during this day on June 25th to June 26th, this time from 6:42 a.m. to about 4:03 a.m. on the 26th, you could go viral, because we have like this Neptunian and mercurial kind of energy where there might be something that is said or written that really like brings some awareness to people. So if you're thinking about releasing an article, if you're a writer or anything like that, this could be a good time for you to push into action and put that project out there and go viral. I got this, as I'm going into this aspect, I also got the song Secret by Madonna from like the 90s. So if there's a secret that we're holding back collectively, we should be writing it down before we expose it out to the world. Come into the body to see what secrets are we holding back. In this song, Madonna's literally talking about sexual secrets, but it could be any kinds of secrets that we are holding in and putting them into paper, right? This could be a little bit of a challenge. It could be elusive, but it also could give us an opportunity with Mercury and Gemini. Also becoming more aware of the information that we're receiving, that we're reading and learning from and indulging in from the media, just being more aware. I wrote here, like, being more aware of the lines in between, like, so reading the terms of condition. So if you're signing any contracts or you're reading anything in particular, or you're learning from someone or something or video, read in between the lines, observe and understand. Question those who you're receiving information from. And it's not you're questioning because you don't believe. It's more like, okay, how more can I expand in this? Or how can I expand myself in what I'm learning? Those are the questions to ask yourself, most importantly. And lastly, active listening, understanding with both Mercury and Neptune with this fight. Again, it's like this, you're using your words. It's again, like T had mentioned, using your words a little bit like knives, and it's important to soften that. And the best way is to listen, observe, and understand with this square off, with this fight between Mercury and Neptune.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Shayla. We thank you for joining us, and we love to hear from you, all of your comments, any questions. We are open for astrology readings, spiritual readings, both of us on our websites, shaylaemeralds.com and teresavarela.com. And so we'll see you next week, and con mucho, mucho sabor y mucho, mucho amor. We'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.